What's up, guys? I know it's been a minute, been really busy with a lot of stuff, but today I do have something new for you guys. Been working with another company, got some parts. It's going on to a bike, not my bike. The lady's about to get some new parts go on, so I'm excited to get this. Let's get on to this. Let's start wrenching. Alright, so what we decided to go with on my girl's bike is I've been working closely with the company Original Garage Moto, and they've been nice enough to come together and try to get something new for these street bobs. As some of you guys know, the new street bobs have a digital gauge on it. That digital gauge is, in stock form, it's mounted inside the riser. There's been other ways to mount it, either by clamping it to the handlebars, some other things, but the way that Harley did it first, honestly to me was like the cleanest setup. So I liked a lot of what Original Garage Moto was doing with their bars. I liked how they had on the inside, we have this going in there. This is amazing cord management. And then their design is amazing. But what they just didn't have was they didn't have this right here. Right here, we got the cutout for the screen, and the new clamp still got nice little details like adding the OG Moto right there. I think that's amazing. I love what they did. I love the style. Being someone like me that does a lot of work myself, it's nice to be able to have all the cords run inside there, because then you get to tuck them away. They're not going to look bad. It's going to be a very nice clean install, but you're not depinning, you're not doing a lot of this stuff, so it's going to make your install easy for anybody that wants to do it. And that's a big thing for me. I like ease. I like good looks. I want things to look clean and tidy, but I want to get it there without too much hassle. So if I can have both, I'm stoked on it. So this is what we got going on. I'm loving these. They're gonna be going on there. This is, by the way, their 8.5-inch pullback riser. So this is one of their higher ones. With the combination that we're going with also the bars, it's gonna make it almost stock. So the nice thing about these bars is they're 1.5 or 1 1/8 inch clamping area right there. So they're your Moto bars. They're nice and solid. They're gonna be nice and rigid, and they're also made out of aluminum, so they're lightweight. Over here on this side, nice touch. They smoothed it out, so you're gonna be not having any issues with your throttle tube sticking. It's nice and smooth. That's gonna make it a lot easier for a nice smooth throttle pull, and that's what you want. Last thing you want is that thing having issues. Over on this side, they knurled it, and that's something that I personally haven't seen, and I really like that a lot. They're knurling it so you just put on that new grip and it's gonna grab without any issues. I don't like having to use glue if I can help it, so hopefully this is going to be a solution to not have to glue your grips on there, and it's still going to hold nice and tight. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm excited for. That's what we're going to do. There's also this little area right here, so you can kind of adjust basically how far back you're going to pull the bars, and it's going to have a nice little indicator right there. They have this stock on the Fat Bob, and it's really cool, but I mean the stock Fat Bob barbs really weren't my thing. But it's nice to be able to do that on these ones. So what we're gonna do next, I'll show you guys kind of what we got going on for tools. It's a really easy job. So considering the setup that we have, some other setups, you're gonna end up having to depin the wires, all that stuff. But the way that these bars and risers are designed is that you can get them in here so easy and tuck them away without issue. And the way these have like large cutouts and everything is going to work great. So these will work awesome for exactly what we need without having to depin, and that's what we're looking for. These are the tools we're going to use. 3/4 inch, that's going to be for your riser bolts, the stock riser bolts, and always like to keep an extension on me. Over here, this is a T25 Torx. That's going to be for your hand controls. T27 Torx also for the hand controls right there. It's always good to make sure that you have some Allens on hand. Obviously these are freaking ratchet socket ones, and not gonna lie, once you get a pair of those, you never want to go back. I always keep some standard Allen keys on me too. Sometimes you need these to get in there, and sometimes it's just easier. Especially when you're just trying to set up a bunch of sizes. I don't want to like use a bunch of these guys to try to like figure out the size of that Allen head. So these things are good to have on hand. Basically the more tools the better, but that's all we're gonna have to use. And from there, what we're gonna end up doing, I'm probably gonna try to time lapse it a little bit. I'll possibly stop and kind of explain some things and show you guys some of the features putting this together. But other than that, lot of explanation that needs to go into doing all this. If you guys have a service manual, it's gonna make it a lot easier. And outside of that, let's get this install going. So now we've gone ahead and got the wires inside the bars. It is not as easy as I'd like it to be sometimes, but for the setup, it's gonna look really, really clean, and we didn't have to de-pin it. So that's a big plus. So now, what you're gonna wanna do after you get that in, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna wanna probably open up these guys, and we're gonna get this. So what we're gonna have to do is feed the wires through the inside of this, so they're internally wired. And then we're probably gonna bolt it up there. I'm not sure if I'm going to run, I'm not sure, you know what, I think I'm gonna bolt this to here and then run the wires through it. So that's what we'll end up doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut back to the time lapse, and we'll get this thing put together. All right. So now we got this guy on, we tighten these guys down. I used the top clamp to make sure that they were aligned, both, you know, they're in line with each other. I don't know the word that I want to use in my head right now, but basically now,
symmetrical.
Yeah, basically. So now we're gonna be sliding these guys into here, and that's gonna be basically how you keep your wires nice and tidy. Most other bars come out the center, and then a lot of times don't even have these nice little tuckaways. There's nice little tuckaways inside here, the channels, and it's going to be a really, really clean install to get it down there. And for anyone wanting that like really nice, clean, naked bike look, you know, if you're running a fairing, I guess it's not going to be as big of a deal, but some of us like to be able to show that front end really, really well. And some of us just like the idea of a clean install because we like good quality work. So with all that, these things actually, for me, are like one of my favorite risers, the design of them and everything, and all the different features. It comes together really nice. And, you know, honestly, the price and everything for this much machine work is not bad. So we're gonna go ahead and get these guys installed and get everything stuck in there. You wanna show over here? There we go. So this side is in there. Let's do that. Ugh. So with any bar install, I'm not gonna lie, I hate wiring. Come back here and show them why I'm putting them in here. So there's the little hole right there, and you're gonna want to do one at a time, because obviously you can't shove all the connectors through at once. So there's one right there, and then probably want to start off with the biggest connector, but there's this one, and see, there you go, all in there. All right, gonna pull these guys through. Like so. Jesus. All right, now we gotta get the top clamp. That guy.
It's over here by me.
I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. So the other huge thing that's obviously new to these risers, they've had these pullbacks for a hot minute, but what they didn't have was the FXBB gauge to go into it. These are new bikes. There's not too much stuff out there for them, so it's really nice when a manufacturer puts in the time to try to get these out there so that you can use these OEM parts and enjoy this stuff. This is something new that Harley did, and I think they did really well on it by trying to bring these bikes into the new age with all this stuff. Let's see, there we go. Get that gasket in there nice and good. So it looks like you're gonna have to kind of like move it back and forth just to make sure that that's all nice and where you want it. There we go. All right. Come around and check it out. So this is about the perfect angle. So when I'm sitting in the cockpit right there, you're gonna be able to see this really, really nicely. It's gonna be right into you. Honestly, I think it's better than the stock setup because this is actually gonna be in your line of view. Alright guys, so we finally got everything done on Tasha's bike. You can see right there. She seems to be really stoked with it. So, it was actually pretty easy install. There's a couple things that, little snags here and there, nothing too big. But, honestly, I've never had an easy time with the handlebar install. There's always like something that's an issue. Overall, I really like this setup. I like the way these ODI bars are. They got a little bit higher of a bend than the Moto racing bars. I like that a lot. There's also a little bit more taper back. The way the grips go on there are awesome. Honestly, I think that they did it way better than any of the Moto bars I've seen. Those are huge. The cord management on the original Garage Moto stuff is huge. The only thing that we're realizing is that with this 8.5-inch riser, you're going to probably need a extension for this wiring right here. As it is now, we can kind of run it. It goes there. I don't have the wiring all the way tucked in, so we're gonna end up ordering an extension, but it's gonna be runnable for her for right now. Everything else, all the other wiring's fine. Some people have asked, do you have enough wiring to get, so-and-so height? These bars originally, her little mini Ape stock, were 10 inches. I believe that we're basically at 10 inches rise with this setup with the bars and the 8.5-inch risers. That's about what it feels like. It's about a 10-inch, which works out very well for Tasha. So right here, this is one of the things I think she's stoked about. You can see that gauge way better than before. Before it was way down here. She'd always have to take her head down. This is right in her line of sight. It's angled almost perfectly. I think, honestly, this is just a safer option. It's a lot better. In general, it's just gonna be way more useful. It's taking from it being down there and being an eyesore to kind of try to watch everything. This makes keeping an eye on your speed, your miles per gallon, and everything. Well, not miles per gallon, your gallons remaining. All that stuff is gonna be way easier for her. It's just, we wanna make these bikes fun and easy to ride. I don't like things to be a chore. I want her to be smiling and enjoying her ride. And I think that she's stoked on it. Let's get a little action. Ooh. Those things are looking good. Those things are looking killer. But yeah, so everything's installed. I'm extremely happy with how it came out. Trying to think if there's anything I would say. The only
have small fingers.
Oh yeah, there's little tiny bolts. Make sure to put Loctite on everything. The only thing that I would say about these risers is that it would be cool to have a couple more size options, maybe a taller than 8.5, just for certain people. But then again, these risers are they're an aggressive style riser, so 8.5 is a little bit tall for our aggressive riders. This is a Moto bar setup. It's going to be meant for a lot more aggressive riding. It's still going to be comfortable. She's a lot smaller, so she doesn't need that tall. But yeah, it would just be kind of nice to maybe have some options. Other than that, I love the design. I love the way they're put together. They're pretty awesome. Also, disclosure for everyone, we were giving these risers for free since we shipped off the gauge to Original Garage Moto. So we were giving them for free. All the opinions on them were my own. I actually started following them specifically because I saw their riser design and I thought it was awesome. And I ended up being lucky enough that I was talking to the guy. We were talking about a build, considering everything that I've done on my Fat Bob. He had some questions regarding some wheel fitment and everything, and then we ended up talking about things. And he's a really easy guy to talk to, so we continued talking. So that's how I came into contact with them. And honestly, it's been great. So we're probably I'm gonna try to get you guys an update when she's ridden it for a little bit and how she likes it. If there's anything that she likes or doesn't like, it's gonna be hopefully a couple weeks, and we'll get back to you guys on that stuff. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any other questions, comment, like, subscribe, and yeah, see you on the next one.